Euro paper roundup time, and look out, it's a bumper edition of having a look at my ass and my big pink floppy thing, which will soon be red. First up, Champions League quarter-finals, where most teams, like Heather Mills, apparently just needed the one leg to get by this week. Real Madrid, for example, 4-0 winners, of course, over Spurs. Not the first time that Harry Redknapp's been mugged at the Bernabeu, or that Crouch's tackle has got him into trouble in Madrid, but still a result greeted euphorically by the Spanish press. According to AS, indeed, the 10th European crown is now in sight. So's the Crab Nebula, but no matter. Marca, meanwhile, have the big team of Manolazo, Emmanuel Adebayor, the hero there. He himself, pointing out over in AS, we still have to cut the head off the snake. As AS explained, that's how they say it in Togo, but all the same, it does seem likely that we're going to be watching Real in the semi-finals, much, indeed, as Spurs were in the quarters. And with Barcelona also set to progress, it means that the unthinkable is on the way. 4 Clasicos in 2.5 weeks. Lo nunca vista, as a gobsmacked Marca puts it. They're going to be facing each other in the Cup final, twice in the Champions League, probably, and of course in the League too. Goodbye, Spanish for us. It's been nice knowing you. Barcelona, of course, were 5-1 winners in their first leg quarter-final with Shakhtar Donetsk, which left, as you'd understand, the Barcelona press in similarly optimistic mood. We're on the way to the triple, say Sport, while El Mundo Deportivo have Iniesta there saying, Papi, off you go to Wembley with a double-decker bus. All in all, not so much tempting fate as putting Smooth FM on, lighting a few candles and reclining back on the bedspread. Now, while we wait for next week's games, no doubt who the biggest winner has been so far, Jose Mourinho. Not only has he, as El País put it, returned Real Madrid to the role of European giants after years in the doldrums, but the last club he pulled that trick with, Inter Milan, have gone and completely fallen apart without him. European champions, of course, went down 5-2 at home to troubled mid-table German side Schalke on the very same night as Real Madrid's win. Let's get a bit of the reaction to that game. First of all, from Germany, where the press were euphoric. Here's Bild. You've heard of the Galacticos. Here's the Schalacticos. And Der Tagesspiegel of Berlin agrees. It's a game for all eternity, they say. We're going to be talking about this one for years. Schalke, of course, a troubled side. They fired their manager Felix Magath just 2 weeks before this game. His replacement, Ralf Rangnick, becoming, in only his second game with Schalke, the first German manager to win a club game away in Italy. Says Bild, this wasn't just any team that Schalke defeated and humiliated in their own ground. It was the champions of the world, and with the power of this result, they reach for the stars and the final at Wembley. It's going to be a crowded game, that one, eh? Well, meantime, over in Italy, the reaction was simple. Humiliated. That's from La Repubblica, while Gazzetta on Wednesday morning, without defence. This after the Inter backline put in a performance so lifeless and unconvincing, Mohamed Al-Fayed could stick him outside Craven Cottage. Everyone is guilty, says La Repubblica, and now, if I can find it, it's time for a clear-out. They have a picture here of the squad with various faces crossed out, but the first name on the block, of course, is that of the manager, the former favourite, Leonardo, who hadn't helped his cause by going and losing the Milan derby 3-0 just days before this one. Says the Gazzetta, can it be coincidence that Leonardo has had 6 home games in the Champions League between Milan and Inter, and he's won none of them? No, it can't. It is, says the paper, the curse of Leonardo. There you go, Dan Brown. You can have that one for free. Well, deep breath then, and on now to our final story. For among the many names touted to replace Leonardo, alongside the obligatory Pep Guardiola, is that of Andrés Villas-Boas. Who is he? Well, the new Mu, according to some, the man who just this Sunday won the Portuguese league with Porto. Porto beating their arch-rivals at Benfica, 16 points ahead of them with 5 games to go, and while Porto do win the title more often than not, this is their 7th in fact in the last decade, this time around they sealed it at Benfica's ground, the first time that's happened in 71 years. And it has to be said, Benfica took it well. As the Porto players ran to celebrate at the final whistle at the Estadio da Luz, Benfica turned all the lights off and switched on the sprinklers, raining on their parade, quite literally, Brian. Well, as various papers put it the very next day, Porto turn out the lights at the stadium of light record. Same story there in Arbola. And incidentally, fans of wondering where their life has gone to will be intrigued to know that Villas-Boas there, who was a former neighbour of Bobby Robson, who only got into management after Sir Bobby was impressed by his acumen, has won the title in his first season at the club and only his second ever in the job. Plus, he's only 33. Well, on that sobering note, that's where we'll finish for this week. No time, sadly, to show you this Build's exclusive pictures of Justin Bieber in a Barcelona top. That's him off the PA at the Bernabeu. We'll be back with more, though, from the papers next Friday, so hopefully we'll be seeing you then.